I had to get one thing signed by the whole new lineup.
No,
Because I realized
Paul and Gary.
in all the years of hanging around Slayer shows, I only had one thing that was signed by all 4 original members.
Oh, wow.
It's my World Painted Blood and the map on the inside of the record. But I was like, man. So I made sure I got at least one thing signed off this tour.
So I'll tell you what, guys. It's amazing that bands can stay together over the years, let alone decades. And it's like yet another thing to create an album and create music that's still good. No, I take that back. Still great. And Slayer, over the last couple of years, they had the death of Jeff Hanneman, and then then Dave Lombardo left again, and then they got Gary Holt to play guitar, and
Fucking Gary Holt. I love Gary.
oh, that guy's a nut. And then they brought back Paul, right? And then they're like, we're gonna record a new album. And as a fan, as an older person, you're just like, you don't have to. We're good. All right, here's the new album, and you're like, I remember getting Repentless, right? And I remember being one of those. Well, I didn't have the record, but I have the CD, and I'm like, let's see how this goes. And then the song Repentless comes on.
Fuck, yeah.
And I'm like, oh shit, this is like early. This is like Show No Mercy type Slayer. Yeah. Fast, aggressive. I was not expecting this album to be as good as it is.
I don't think a lot of people were. I mean, it's been a while since, there was so many metal bands dropping albums after 30 years that, were kicking ass. But correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't the videos drop before the album? Because they did the trio of videos that had Danny Trejo in it. That were incredibly violent.
Oh yeah, there's the one where they're in like a prison and shit like that.
Yeah, they've been working on this record for a while. I mean, it was a long process, so the videos might have. I don't really remember.
But I think Repentless, as it kicked on, it was like setting the tone of like, you think we went somewhere, you motherfuckers? That intro guitar riff just hard hitting, and then drums kick in.
Oh well, just speaking of the drums, one of the first songs I heard on the album is "When the Stillness Comes." Not a fast song.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, the thing that stood out for me on this album was the drums. The drums are so fucking heavy.
Yeah, Paul is really he's really gelling back with the band on this record, and on the tour. I mean, it's kind of a shame that this is the last. I mean, everything's got to end, but it's like, man, these last rounds of shows, it's the best I've heard Slayer sound in years.
Yeah.
I mean, Paul and Gary, I mean, they are a band now. I know a lot of hardcore Slayer fans will argue that Slayer, is no longer or whatever, but
no, but you know what though? I mean, as a long-term Slayer fan and seeing them throughout the decades, they're still incredible.
And the argument can be made that I know the hardcore fans are like, that's not real Slayer. Hanneman's not there anymore, but they all grew up in that same area and the same era. Like, it's not like Gary is some new guy that they auditioned. They picked up a phone and said, "Hey, man."
It's the lead guitar player for one of the best thrash bands out there.
Yeah, and even once again, this last tour, they sounded so great, but it's like he's totally just all the Hanneman stuff now. He's taken it and I'd say made it his own. It's not like he's really changed it, but it's like he's not just playing Hanneman solos anymore. He's taken
internalized it.
They're Gary Holt solos now.
No,
via Hanneman.
The tell for me is going to see Slayer. And you know how this shit goes. I mean, you're in the bands and it's like, man, I hope they play all the old shit. But Slayer, it's like, oh man, I hope they play Repentless.
Yeah.
I hope they play You Against You. You Against You is one of my favorite songs.
That's a great song, man.
On that album. What are some of your favorites on it?
Dude, I like, was it Pride and Prejudice?
Yeah.
So, that's a kick-ass song. I mean, Cast the First Stone's cool. I really love, Tom's, screaming, as he holds that out. Again, we talked about in a previous episode, the tempo changes and seeing like the kind of ups and downs on Repentless. I dig that because there's the really heavy hitting stuff like Pride and Prejudice.
Yep.
It's not a fast thrash song, and it wraps the album up, you know. And it was part of those trio of videos that they released on. I think it just got released on YouTube or maybe it's on Slayer.com, whatever. But I mean, it like made a little mini story. But I mean, there's nothing on this album that sucks. Like,
No.
This is one of the best albums that has come out in general, not even just in the genre, like in quite some time.
And well, here's something too that I want to bring up. I thought that is going to seem like a weird analogy, but I've always compared like music to like food, you know. And follow me. So say like I'm in the mood for pizza, you know. I'm going to go to a pizza shop because I want pizza. I'm not going to go into a pizza shop because I want a cheeseburger, you know. Or I don't go to a burger place looking for chicken, you know. It's like the thing is when I like the bands that I like, I'm going for something. You know, when I think of Slayer, it's like I want to bang my head. I want to listen to fast, aggressive music. And a lot of bands over the years, they will progress. They will change. Sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. But at the end of the day, when I think of Slayer, I think of a certain speed, an emotion. And that's what I'm looking for. And the thing about Slayer, like even when they did Diablos and they were down in that area, it's still Slayer. It's still metal. They didn't change into like a new metal band.
Oop.
There was certain elements in Diablos where you can tell they were listening to Slipknot and they were trying to do a little bit of that kind of thing, but they were always still a thrash band. And this album, still, it's like if this album would have came out in the 80s, I would have been yeah. I wouldn't have been like, oh wow, what the hell's this? This is completely different. Till the end, they always remain Slayer. And that's the reason why they will always be my favorite band.
It sucks when you say till the end. Like it really sucks that like after this, you know, after this tour, we get no more live Slayer.
You know what though? But here's the thing. I mean,
it all has to end sometime.
But you know what? I'm 47, and it's sort of like, you know, well, fuck, if I'm 47,
right?
They're like in their 50s then,
Oh, yeah.
and they got families. You know, I think Tom Araya like has kids and stuff like that, and it's like, yeah, you know, they should be taking care of their family at this point in time. Again, it's like at any point in Slayer's career, if they would have ended at any point, I would have been like, yeah, great, awesome,
Right.
You know.
It's physical music to do what they do. Like when they're playing, I mean, I couldn't do half of what they do. Obviously, I mean, I'm not in the band, but you know, I don't do it for a living. But I remember
They tire me out when I go see them live, and I'm just
Right.
like,
yeah, right. I mean, just the activity at that drum set, or like Carrie, like he wearing 30 pounds of chains off his waist. You know, like,
That in the fire, like in
Right.
the last few. I mean,
I
when
just-
you're in the audience and you can feel the heat from that fire. They're like 5 feet from it.
right.
I just like how they kind of like the Judas Priest kind of had like their version of what metal is, which is essentially gay bar attire. And I remember like seeing Slayer, and I remember like Jeff Hanneman would be wearing these like umpire like shim.
Yeah.
Carrie King is like literally just wearing chains
Yeah.
that are hanging down. It's like, yeah, this is gonna be our version of metal. I got one story to take us out on. I'll never forget. I was seeing Slayer live. I lost my hair a long time ago. You know, hey, I get old. So I'm watching Slayer. I'm in the crowd, and there's this guy who was a little bit younger and had hair. Like he had hair, and this guy is like fucking. He's doing this thing where like he's headbanging, but his thing's going like this. And like I'm standing right behind him, and like his hair is like
Yeah.
just hitting me in the face like with every fucking revolution. And there was a point in me where I'm like, oh, fuck this guy, this is bullshit. And I thought like, no, he's headbanging the Slayer. So it's like, yeah, they're good in my book. So Slayer, if you're watching this video, because I'm sure they are,
Right.
you guys had a great run. And
Yeah, thank you for fucking 35 plus years of amazing thrash.
my favorite Slayer t-shirt is the one that says Slayer Uber Alles. And the reason why is because it's the fucking truth. Hey gang, this is Ray, and I just want to say thank you very much for checking out my video. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you want to see more videos, please click on the subscribe button. And if you like what you see, please give it a like. That would mean a lot to me. And if you're wondering why I'm wearing Hawaiian shirts, well, when I'm not talking about records, I'm talking about my other love, Tiki. I have a show called Tiki with Ray. If you want to check that show out, just search Tiki with Ray on YouTube. It'll come up.